What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to part 3 of how to set goals that you can actually achieve in 2021. As you probably know, if you watched the previous 2 videos, I've already shared with you what my tips are on setting goals and setting realistic goals. And then in part 2, I shared the first half of my personal goals for 2021. And then in this video, I will be sharing the second half of what my goals for 2021 are, the last 3 groups that I have, which are personal growth, finances, and work. So without further ado, I'm just gonna get right into it because I feel like these topics are a lot more prominent in my life. Well, at least one of them is this year and this coming year. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it. So first, I'm going to start with personal growth because that is the biggest section of goals that I have. So I have 7 goals written down in this, but they are all kind of just like part of a bigger picture. So I'm going to share with you, obviously, like I did in the last video, what my goals are and then what I put on my vision board, if anything, to represent that goal. So like I've showed you in all of the other videos, this was what I have for personal growth. Obviously just the words, nothing fancy, for my vision board. And then I have several pictures that are going to go with this, and a lot of them honestly are just quotes, but to me sometimes quotes can mean more than pictures because it can make you really think, like, how does this pertain to me and my life and my situation. So I've put a lot of quotes on here, but you know what, that's totally okay because sometimes quotes mean more in my opinion. So again, none of these goals are in any particular order from most important to least important or vice versa. I just kind of threw them on here as I thought of them. So the first one that I have is to be less judgmental and more accepting and open-minded, especially to people that I don't know. So on my vision board, I'm just putting this little quote and it says, a little more kindness, a little less judgment. And that is basically exactly what I'm trying to do is, you know, especially because I'm working in social services now, I'm going to be with people of all kinds from all different places and things like that, of all different lifestyles. So you never truly know what someone is going through. And so I'm trying to have a more open mind, and instead of trying to fix them, just try to understand where they are right then and there as I'm talking to them or as I'm dealing with them or whatever the case may be. And that doesn't go necessarily just for work, but I think that is how it will pertain to my life the most, is in my work and then my guardian ad litem stuff, just because those are the places that I do seem to interact with people that are much different than me more than any other aspect of my life, especially right now. So that is just one thing I'm trying to work on, is, you know, not to be so quick to jump the gun on why someone is the way they are or why they're doing what they're doing. Just kind of meeting them where they are and being like, okay, these are your options, this is what we can do to help you, or whatever the case may be. That's specifically for my work, but you know, just even out in public when you see people and you're like, why are they doing that, why do they look like that, just like trying to do that less, because truthfully I have no idea what they're going through. You know, they could be having the worst day of their entire life, and you know, they might have just lost a family member or their dog or lost their job or whatever the case may be. So you never know what someone's going through. So I know a lot of times, you know, we try to seem like we're all put together, but we're really not. Just because someone shows their feelings a lot more than I might doesn't mean that they're doing something wrong or that it's their fault. Just kind of learning to accept people for who they are and where they've come from and all of the things mixed together, and not judge them based on one little thing or a couple little things when I really don't know much more than that. Another goal I have, it's not very I don't really know how to explain it, but the goal is to learn to appreciate the moment I'm in. So I'm very much the type that thinks ahead. I like to have a plan. I like to know when I'm doing this or how I'm going to get to this destination in my life or how I'm going to achieve this and all that stuff, which is fine, but sometimes I do let it like overtake my judgment and overtake my mind, truthfully. And so I just kind of want to learn to like live in the moment and just be here now and not worry about, you know, everything else around me. Just especially when I'm with like friends and family and stuff like that, trying to just, you know, enjoy the time I'm with them and not think, okay, well, when I leave here I need to do this, this, and this. I want to be less of that person. With that being said, I put this quote. It says, if you want to fly, give up everything that weighs you down. So this could go for a lot of different things, but to me this means, you know, stop letting things that are not important at this very moment weigh you down, and then you can fly and you can have all these great times and these great moments that you're actually going to remember, and you're not going to be overtaken by what's coming next or what's happening next or things that have already happened. Because that is one of my biggest downfalls, I think, is worrying a lot about things that have already happened that I can't even change, which is so stupid because it already happened. I can't do anything about it, so why dwell on it? And so that's why I picked this quote. I just really like that one, and I thought that it really went with, you know, being in the moment, letting all the things of the past, all the things that may happen in the future, just letting them go and living in the moment and being myself and being with my friends and family in that moment. So that's going to be really important to me this year. Kind of going off of that, I want to not only just live in the moment, but again, stop worrying about what's next. Learn to grow where I'm planted. So to represent that, I've just put a picture of a cute little plant. And by that I mean I don't want to always be thinking about where can I go, what can I do next, where can I go to do better at this one thing. I want to be better at that one thing where I am at that moment, because if I'm always thinking about what's next, then I'm not doing anything to my full potential in this moment, in this area. And that could go for like moving states or just like friendships or anything really. For example, with the moving states, you know, I could think to myself all day long, where I want to be in this one specific job, where can I go to be in that job, instead of taking the skills and the knowledge and all the things that I would be using in that specific job and applying them to where I'm already working. I don't know if that makes sense, but it does in my head, so I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense to you guys. But like learning to grow where I'm planning, learning to be better and do better and learn more things in the season of my life that I'm currently in, instead of working, not necessarily not working towards something, but not always trying to just move on to the next best thing. I want to learn to enjoy and take it all in wherever I am doing whatever I'm doing, no matter how much I love it or hate it. If I hate it, that sucks, of course, but I want to learn to adapt and figure out why I hate it, figure out what I can do to maybe like it a little more, or figure out what I can do in the future to avoid something like that, if that makes sense. That was kind of a lot of thoughts, but like, I don't know, I'm just really set on like being better at being me. I don't know if that makes sense, but I have a lot of personal growth goals and like self-reflection and things like that I'm doing this year, just because I'm kind of figuring out, I'm kind of an adult now, figuring out who I am, what I want to do, who I want to be, kind of thing. I'm not like stuck in this little box anymore of being a student and being a teenager that can't make her own decisions and things like that. So I'm just like I'm just trying to be very open-minded and be okay with wherever I end up, with whatever I end up doing. You know, obviously that doesn't mean that I want to be in the middle of nowhere flipping burgers at the McDonald's, but if for whatever reason that was my situation at some point, I want to learn to be okay with that and learn to deal with it and find some kind of happiness out of that. So that's a big thing for me this year, is just learning to be okay with where I am and make the best of every situation, kind of deal, to sum all of that up. The next thing I have is to say yes more, but to know my limits. So for that, I just have this little neon sign that says yes, nothing crazy. I just thought it was cute. Obviously, I'm going to cut around it more, but I'm very much the type, like, if I don't feel like getting out of bed, like, I'm not going. Like, if I don't feel like being around these specific people that are going to be there, I'm not going. I'm not doing this unless I have a specific plan and I'm, like, kind of in control. And that's great to an extent, but I think that it has, like, hindered me from a lot of opportunities and experiences. So I want to learn to say yes more, even if maybe I'm not super comfortable with whatever it is, whether it's a trip somewhere or a job opportunity or whatever may happen. I just want to be more open to saying yes and not so much of the I don't really know, I don't have a plan for that, so I'm not going, or I'm not doing that because I don't know where I'm going to end up. Because I think I've missed out on a lot by being that type of person. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I just feel like I need to say yes more, but like also know my limits, not say yes to everything. Obviously, some things I will need to say no to. You know, if I'm having a bad me day, then I can't be there for you. So like, if you're needing me to be your little therapist for the day, but I'm having a real crappy day, I'm gonna need to learn to say no to that, because I need to deal with me and my mental health first before I try to fix or help someone else. I think I need to remember that. The next thing I have is to find a church or a pastor or something to that effect that me and Jonathan both love, whether it be in person or online, listening to either a podcast or just watching them stream it online. Especially right now with Corona, you never know when things are going to be shut down or when they're going to be open or anything like that. But I do want to get back into church. I've just never had great church experience, so I want to find somewhere that like I feel like I really fit in and I'm not just going to say that I'm going, because to me that means nothing. So to represent that, I just have a picture of a church. You know, to me, you don't have to go to church and you don't have to sit in a building every Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night to have Jesus. I feel like if you get more out of sitting on your couch and watching it on TV, then that's perfectly fine. If you get more out of it by driving down the road and listening to a podcast of someone preaching or whatever, then so be it. Like, as long as you're getting your Jesus and you feel like you are fulfilled, then that's okay. I don't think that it should be tied down to a place or a time. You know, if Monday morning at 5:30 in the morning is your time to get your worship on, then go for it. But if you feel more comfortable sitting in church on Sunday morning at 9:30, then that's fine too. I just think that you should do what makes you happy and what makes you feel like you're getting the most out of it, because me personally, going to church on Sunday mornings and sitting in a pew does not make me feel like I have Jesus. And a lot of people may disagree with that, and that's fine, but that's just where I stand with it. I feel like I get a lot more out of it when I'm by myself or with like maybe one or two other people like focused in. I don't have all these other people around to watch or to watch me and all these things. So I just want to find some source of church. It doesn't necessarily have to be a building. It can be, you know, like I said, a podcast or just watching someone stream it on TV or on Facebook Live or whatever. I want to find one that I really enjoy and that I'm really willing to like stick to and pay attention to and stuff like that. The next one I have is continue going to therapy even when I'm feeling great. So I have not been to therapy in a good little while because of work and just like my hours and things like that just don't line up to where I'm able to go. And at first I was like, oh, that's fine, like I'm feeling good about myself, everything's good, I don't need to go. But I quickly learned that that's not always true. So to represent that, I have it's okay to not be okay, and this has been like a big saying of mine ever since I started therapy. You know, it's all right to not always be your best. Like, that's fine. You're not always going to be your best, and if you think you are, then you're lying to yourself. So I just want to make sure that I'm making time, whether it's just emailing her about what's going on or texting her or whatever, or if I'm actually going in and sitting down with her and talking to her. I want to make sure that I continue to communicate with her, because I really do think that that has helped me out a lot this past year, and I don't want to like disregard everything that I've done this year and just pretend that it didn't happen, because it did. I think a lot of it is what caused me to be so much of like open-minded person that I am now. It made me realize like I can do all these things. I need to stop being my own worst critic, basically. So I want to definitely continue doing that even when I'm feeling good. You know, therapy is not all about the bad stuff. So I want to continue to do that, because I could be great for months and then one day everything could turn around and then it's like my whole world is crashing, and I don't want that to happen. I want to be able to still be good if everything goes wrong. That's all I have to say about that, really. That's why I haven't given a therapy update in a long time, is because I haven't been to give you an update, and I really want to get back into that. And then the last goal that I have is a very broad goal, but it's just to love myself. As I've mentioned before, you know, I've been going to therapy this year, and it has helped me a tremendous amount. Like, I could never explain to you enough how much I'm thankful that I went, because wow, like your girl was a mess, like a whole mess, and I'm like still a mess, but not like, I'm only like half a mess now. For love myself, I have two quotes that I'm putting on my vision board. The first one is, how you love yourself is how you treat others to love you. So I don't really have this problem anymore, but if I'm always talking down to myself and I'm not taking care of myself, then how can I expect my friends and family to not do the same thing? Like, how can I expect to be this Debbie Downer and to be so like pessimistic all the time, and then expect them to always come in and be like, oh no, you're great, you're awesome, you're doing the best you can? Like, eventually that gets tiring for everyone. So I just want to show, like, to be confident in myself and be able to show that to other people, that I'm confident and that I'm like feeling good and that I feel confident in my decisions that I'm making. I feel confident in myself. All those things, I want to be able to show that to everyone else so that they can reciprocate those same feelings back to me, because nothing is worse than being like the only sad person in the room and no one really cares, and then you just like make everyone else sad. So that's the worst, and I don't want to be that person. So the next thing I have is talk to yourself like someone you love. Basically the same as the last quote, but just like not telling, like when I'm having a bad day, like not telling myself like, oh, you suck, you didn't get anything done today, like you're a terrible worker, you're a terrible fiance, you're a terrible wife, whatever the case may be. Like not talking to myself like that, because if I do it to myself, then that just brings in all the other opportunities for other people to talk to me that way, and I'm not cool with that. So I can't expect them to say nice things about me if I'm not saying nice things about me. So that's basically how I see that. So those are my personal growth goals, and that I would definitely say is my biggest chunk of goals for the next year, especially just because of all the things that I've discovered about myself, especially through therapy, and just all the things that I want to achieve. Like I can't achieve that if I'm like not feeling good and not feeling good about myself. So I just want to make sure that I'm always up here. Even on my bad days, I want to make sure that I can get out of that dark hole, or if I'm feeling like I'm down here, I want to be able to figure out how to get myself back up so that I can complete all these other goals that I have for the year. So the next one I have, or the next like topic I have, is work. So this one's pretty short. I don't have too many that go along with this, but I do think that they are still important. Little work, nothing crazy, but I do have 3 goals for this, but I do have a lot of pictures kind of. The first one I have is to dedicate more time to my guardian ad litem program. So for that, I just have this little thing that says speak up for the kids, because that's literally what I do as a guardian ad litem, is speak up for the kids that I'm representing. This past year, you know, everything was crazy with COVID, so I couldn't really like be there with them, and that may still be the case this coming year, but I want to make sure, especially since I took on this new case, that I am communicating with them a lot more frequently than I was, because this past year I was like talking to the lady like once a month, once every other month maybe. It was not a lot. I just feel like I wasn't putting as much effort and time into it as I should have been to make an impact. And yes, it is a little bit harder to make an impact when you can only talk to them on the phone, but I want to make sure that they know my voice, make sure they know that they can call me when they need something, especially because the case I have now, the kids are a lot older than, you know, an infant. So I want them to know that I'm there for them and that I'm there to help them. Like that's the whole point of me being there anyway. So I want them to know, and not just say, oh, that's the girl that calls once a month to check in and make sure that I haven't, you know, gone crazy. That is one of my bigger goals in the work field for sure. My next goal is just to give my best effort at my job. I haven't been there very long, and I've only been training since I have been there the past couple months, but once I actually get my caseload, I think in February, I want to like give my best effort and not just like half-ass it. Basically, I want to get in there. I want to do everything I can to get the people I need to get in touch with and all of the things. So to represent that, I put this thing, and it says girl boss, and it says an ambitious young woman driven to succeed in her career or business. So, you know, some people might think, oh, you work in child support, like who cares about that, like you're just trying to take people's money, you don't, whatever. And you know, at the end of the day, that is what I'm doing. I'm seeking out parents that aren't always there to have them support their kids, and that's what it is, and that's fine, but I don't want that to be all it is to me. I want it to be more than that, and I don't know yet exactly how I'm gonna do that, because you know, I do have a job to do, and I'm not supposed to be getting all involved in everybody's life, and I don't want to do that. But I do want to figure out a way to make it seem like I'm not just there to take their money. I'm not there to just ask them questions about their life and get all up in their business, because I am there to do that, but I want them to be okay with telling me this information and like not feel like I'm gonna use it against them or whatever they may think in their head that child support workers are. I want them to know, you know, you can tell me things and like it's not gonna backfire on you or something like that. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of my goal. And then my last goal in the work category is to always ask new questions and learn more. So that goes for my job, that goes for guardian ad litem, anything. I just want to be successful, and that doesn't necessarily mean I want to be making 6 figures a year. I mean, of course that would be great, but like I want to be successful, and I have a quote here that says, success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. So I'm gonna put that on the vision board, and that just kind of to me is like, even if my job sucks, I can make the best of it. I can be a good person to these people that I know nothing about or that I know a lot about. I can be a good person and help them get the resources that they need, even if what my specific job is doing is not what they want. I can still be a good person and be ethical and all that good stuff when it comes to my job. And then the last category is finances. This is a big one for a lot of people, especially the people that are my age, young adults, you know, trying to get your life started, trying to move out of your parents' house, all that good stuff. I only have 2 pictures for this, but some of these goals I've already mentioned a little bit. So one of the goals I've already mentioned is that I want to cook more and eat out less. I mentioned that before in like my home, but I want to eat out less and cook more just to save money. And then another one that I want to do is find cost-effective wedding decor, cost-effective food, invitations, all that stuff. A lot of the stuff me and my mom, mainly my mom, are going to be doing ourselves, but invitations are super expensive. So if that means that I have to print them out myself and handwrite every single thing, then that's what I have to do, because I don't have $20,000 to spend on a wedding. And I'll just tell y'all that right now, I don't. Especially because I have crippling student debt, as I'm sure many of you can relate. And like I said, me and Jonathan are buying a house. We have all our own bills. And yes, I make decent money, but I don't make money like that. And yes, my parents are helping me out, but they're not helping me out like that. So just finding, even if it's just, you know, saving $1 here and there, that will make me happy to know that I'm not, you know, over here, hey mom, I need $5,000, because first of all, she's not going to give it to me, and second of all, I would just feel bad doing that. Like, I don't need to spend 20 grand on a day that's going to be over in less than 24 hours. So I would much rather save on the things like flowers and invitations and stuff like that and put it towards mine and Jonathan's house and our future together and our future kids and things like that. And then the last 2 financial goals I have that are actual numeric values. First one is to save $5,000, and when I say that, I mean save $5,000 that just stays in my savings account, not for anything specific. So yes, I want to save money for my wedding and for our house, but on top of that, I want to save $5,000 that just stays in my savings for if I ever need to make a big purchase, or if something like an emergency happens and we need that extra money or whatever. So to represent that, I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see it just because it is kind of light, but it's just a girl with a piggy bank putting money into the piggy bank. I just want to have that just for us to fall back on in case we were to ever need it for whatever reason. And then the next numerical value that I have is I want to save / put towards my student loans $1,200 extra on top of my monthly payment. So my monthly payment is like close to $800, but I'm so thankful that my parents are helping me right now. We are splitting it basically down the middle, so I'm only paying about $370-ish a month, and I'm so thankful for them and that I'm able to split it with them and not have the burden of almost $1,000 a month payment. But since that is the case, that we are splitting it, I do want to be able to help, you know, a little extra. I want to be able to put at least $1,200 extra throughout the course of the year. And if you think about it, that's really only $100 extra a month. So it's really not that bad when you look at it that way. And then to represent that, I just have a college grad being suffocated by a money sign, because that's how I feel. And you can say, well, you picked it, and you're right, I did, but it's a scam. It's ridiculous. There's no reason it should cost that much, and no one can ever change my mind. So that is just one goal that I have, to help not only me, but to help like loosen the burden on my parents. You know, it's not a whole lot, but it will add up over time, and that I will be so happy to be able to do that, because I'm not trying to be in debt forever. And then last in the finances category is to complete a no spend week, hopefully more, but at least one throughout the year, just because I want to do it. I think it would be cool. I love to save money. Y'all know I love to coupon and all that stuff. So basically a no spend week. You don't spend any extra money. The only thing you buy is like absolute necessities. So if you have like a house payment or like utility bills, you pay those. You buy groceries, you don't eat out, you just buy enough groceries to make what you need for the week. And then if you need gas, you can buy that. I'm pretty sure that's like the only things you're supposed to spend money on. So like, you don't go out to eat, you don't go buy a new shirt, you don't go on a trip, you don't spend any money except for absolute bare necessities. So I think that would be cool to do, maybe even once a month. I think we could save a lot of money doing that, but we'll see once we do the first one. Maybe I'll vlog that for you guys. That would be a cool idea. If any of you have ever done that, leave me tips down below on how you made it, because I do like to, I don't know, I think I could, honestly, I think I could do it. I think I could do it, but we'll see. So that is my last goal that I wanted to share with you guys, is I want to complete a no spend week, hopefully more. to see how much money we could actually save, because that's just so interesting to me. I don't know. So yeah, that wraps up all of the goals I have set for myself for 2021. And I also bought new journals that I'm going to use to kind of help with the personal growth ones. So once those arrive, I want to share those with you, and then after a couple weeks of using them, I want to share if I like them or not and what I'm getting out of them, kind of thing. But for now, that is all I have for you guys. I hope that this little 3-part series helped you decide how to set goals and, you know, decide what goals you wanted to set. And I wish you all the best of luck in achieving your goals for the next year, because I know this past year has sucked and we all need something to look forward to. And if that is completing a goal for you, then so be it, because right now that's what it is for me. I'm focusing on all of the goals I have set to like push me through this hopefully non-COVID year. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys. If you guys have any questions, I'm not an expert by any means, but if you have any questions, my DMs on Instagram are always open. You can leave stuff in the comments. If you have any recommendations, or if you have a personal goal, like a big goal you want to share, leave that in the comments. Like I mentioned in one of my Vlogmas videos, I'm no longer going to be posting on Sundays at 3. I think I'm going to start posting on Wednesdays now, probably still 3 o'clock, but just Tuesdays instead of Sundays, just because I think that will be easier for me to, 1, get more videos out that are on time, and 2, have better quality videos, which is a goal of mine in 2021. So I just wanted to remind you guys of that. Again, if you have any questions, any goals that you are setting for yourself, comment them down below, and make sure you don't forget to subscribe so that you can help me reach my goal of 600 subscribers this year on YouTube. I only hope to do more than that, of course, but that is what I'm setting myself for right now, is 600. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and help a girl out, and I will see you guys in my next video.